We're delighted to be joined tonight on the show by the Sheridan Insurance Breffni All-Stars Player of the Week for Week 1, Mossy Gore, if you'd like to step up for us, Mossy. And for Week 2, for the Sheridan Insurance Breffni All-Stars Player of the Week, we have Kieran Brady from Arva, and you can step up as well. And of course, to make the presentation to the two players is Benny Sheridan from Sheridan Insurance in College Street, Cavan. So if you'd just like to make the presentation, and Thomas Brady as well from Sheridan Insurance, and of course from Mcgovern, more importantly. So the lads, if they just want to make that presentation.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And your voucher that goes with it for Sheridan Insurance is for your Player of the Week.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
So if you want to have a seat, lads, and I'll just talk to the two boys, if you don't mind, for a quick minute before you go, we'll step you back in here. Sheridan Insurance, back involved with the Breffni All-Stars. It's a joint venture this year with the Cavan County Board, but Sheridan Insurance is still back in it again.
Absolutely. It is a sponsorship that has worked very well for Sheridan Insurances over the last 3 years. This is, I suppose, a greater involvement this year. There's more time investment, money investment, but it reaches throughout the entire Cavan community, the local clubs, and that minors included this year. We're very pleased with that, because to give the minor players, they can be a Player of the Week or a Breffni All-Star when the final panel is nominated at the end, I think is great, because there's where the future of Cavan GAA is, coming up from the youth ranks, you know.
Have you been surprised about the success of the Breffni All-Stars? You've been involved from the very start, you know, but it has grown from strength to strength. Yeah,
well, I think the effort that club players put in from early January, February, the training, the commitment, what it takes, and in a county level, the 15 All-Stars was on the team last year, those that got Player of the Week, they had to do something special to do it, or get that recognition from the judging panel. And I think that club players, it is a memento, they'll always have it. I played well in 2014, or I played well in 2015. It was such a match, I scored 1-8, I scored 1-6, or whatever. And that's for any sports person in an amateur status, to have that. It gives them great recognition. It's a token of recognition for the effort and commitment they give to their clubs.
Yeah, and I suppose, Thomas, you know all about the effort and commitment it takes at football, being a Mcgovern player, but I think you were part of the brainstorm for this whole idea.
Yeah, well, we came along, I suppose. I came to Benny Sheridan and I asked him about it, and Benny was impressed with the idea, and it's kind of, ever since, it's rolling well. Yeah,
it surely is. Like, every week I know people they're obviously picking up the Anglo-Celt to see who's made the team of the week. They're tuning into Cavan TV to see who's got the Player of the Week. But, you know, even within your own club, I'm sure there's a bit of excitement about it. People want to know if they're there or thereabouts for the best in the county.
Of course there is, and there's always a great recognition when someone gets on the team, you know.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. Look, we want to thank you for obviously your continued involvement with it, and the very best of luck. I suppose just very final thing is that you have not just a presentation of a trophy, but there's also a voucher for the Player of the Week each week.
Absolutely. One of the things, the connection that Sheridan Insurances would see with the Gaelic Athletics Association is insurance. Predominantly health insurance. Many players, Thomas is a prime example, had several cruciate ligament operations, hermitage, consultants, x-rays, physiotherapy, etc. That costs a lot of money. So health insurance is one mechanism that can cope with that and take the burden off the club in making sure that players are well looked after, that need treatment, physiotherapy, etc. And that's the big thing we're targeting here, to make an awareness that Sheridan Insurances specialise in the health insurance market. Also, we do motor insurance, life insurance, house insurance, and all the other things that go with it. So we feel it's a good fit that the players, up and coming players, their family members, supporters, will recognise that Sheridan has something to offer in terms of service and advice and support.
And importantly, I suppose each Player of the Week who gets the award gets a 15% discount on any policy within the next 12 months.
Correct, and that worked very well for us last year. We're looking back at the Player of the Weeks that got the vouchers, and a lot of them came and done business with us, got a discount on their motor insurance, home insurance, health insurance, etc. So we're repeating that again this year, and hopefully it goes down as well as last year.
Well, I'm sure it will. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to join us on Gaelic Football Views, and we look forward to talking to these in the next coming few weeks while the championship heats up.
Thanks
very much,
lads. Cheers, Lenny.
Now that the business is done, we can start slagging Mossy, so we can get straight into it. Huh?
On tonight's show, we'll be looking back at another busy weekend of Gaelic football in Cavan.
We have all the results from the Hotel Kilmore and Cully's Craft Bakery Club Championships that took place on the weekend, and we'll also be discussing the Cavan ladies exiting the All-Ireland Senior Championship at the hands of Monaghan.
We will, but what's the story? Why am I smaller than you?
Listen,
Why did you take my seat?
I just grew in the last week.
But first, we're delighted to have Tomás Carr, Kieran Brady, the two boys who are after winning their Sheridan Insurance Breffni All-Stars Player of the Week for week 1 and 2. And we're also joined by a good Ballyhaise man, Barry Lynch. We'll be talking to Barry about his involvement with GAA in Spain and Portugal, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
Almost, Nicky.
That's the next
spreading the word. Spreading the word. But I suppose first we'll chat to Tomás and to Kieran. Tomás, it sounds wrong. Can I call you Mossy on air? Is that all right? Holla?
Yes, fair enough.
What are you going to call Barry?
Leroy?
No, that's his.
No. It's we'll think of one to come back to, Barry, about. You're struggling with that chair, Mickey.
That looks smaller than you.
Tomás, I suppose, Mossy, we'll start off. You got the Player of the Week for week 1 after a wonderful stay up in Virginia against Drumgoon. Even though you probably went in as underdogs, you towered through that game, played very well.
No, it was a great team performance, especially because even the day we're struggling big time for numbers. We had 3 subs on the bench, which was 17. We had no junior team this year because we just couldn't get the numbers with emigration and stuff. But 7 lads that day, and the two lads that was on the bench that won the minor league last year. So it was great to bring on 7 lads, and then to beat a team like Drumgoon, the season campaigners. It was great for that.
Yeah, you were saying already that you were having a troubled year, you aren't going too well in league or Breffni League, and it was one of the biggest surprises of the championship so far. But by all accounts, a wonderful game of football, and as you said, the young fellas that you brought on shone through, and it's great that then have this youth coming through.
Yeah, it is. It was really pleasing, but all year, I suppose, we struggled with numbers first of all, but I suppose we just kept at it, and we just stuck with the lads, even though we were losing games. In some games, we were getting really big thrashings, even in Division 1B. But we kept stuck with it, and it paid dividends. It just seemed to click against Drumgoon. It was a lot of lads. We didn't believe we had it in ourselves, so it was pleasing for them.
Your reward for beating Drumgoon was first round tie against 2013 county champions Ballinyan. You played them on the weekend just gone by. You still put it up to them. You did lose in the end, but you didn't I suppose embarrass yourselves. You just put up a good showing.
We did, yeah. Well, we went into the game we were after playing Christian the previous week in the league, and we were after getting 2 points in the league game, which we hadn't. We kind of went into the game in a good frame of mind. But Ballinyan, to be fair to them, they were the better team on the day, and you just could see it. There's around the middle, they just had loads of experience, and just probably our lads. It was a big enough stage for the lads as well, and we were disappointed with the way we played. We thought we could have played much better, but
for a lot of the team, though, the young players that you mentioned, it was probably their first time in an adult championship game in Kingspan Breffni Park, so that can be daunting enough in itself.
Yeah, it could, and we tried to, I suppose all week we tried to get that factor out of it, but even I said before in the team talk before, he says, if you don't have butterflies in your stomach playing in Breffni Park in a senior championship game,
something wrong
with you. So I said it before the game, and just to try to get nerves out of boys, because it's even I'm playing it the last 10, 15 years, and I still get butterflies playing
20 years.
But you're still there anyway.
30 years for some.
These are still there anyway, that's the main thing, and we'll come back to that now in a minute. I suppose, Damien, if you want to move on to
Kieran, in week 2 then, you picked up the Player of the Week. It was a wonderful performance by yourself against Shercock in Kingspan Breffni Park on, I think it was a Friday night. The game itself started off was mouth-watering because people were looking at Kieran Hollobrady against Killian Clark, and it started brilliantly between the two of you. It was a wonderful battle. I suppose the black card for Killian freed you up.
Yeah, well, look, I always enjoy marking good players, and Killian Clark, I suppose, is one of the best players in the county. He can play in any position or whatever, and I was relishing or whatever, but luckily enough, he didn't last on the field for too long. So
it was funny after, at one stage, we were talking about the game itself. Myself and Paul Fitzpatrick were doing the commentary on it on We Are Cavan, and we were talking about how you had a shot on one end of the field and it was blocked down, and you managed then to be back down the other end of the field, turning over possession in the Arva defence. So I came up with the nickname for you, the Flash. I think that's going to stick now from now on. It's not going to be the Holla anymore. It's Kieran the Flash Brady, because your level of energy, your fitness is phenomenal. Like, how hard do you have to work on it?
And also for what he does on the weekends as well.
He's a superhero.
No, the Flash.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know now. I shouldn't have got blocked down in the first place. A few of the boys up front wouldn't be too happy. Colin Shorten or Peter Morris or Johnny McCabe or any of them. But I know, look, you have to be, if you're a defender and you want to get forward, you have to build up the energy levels and the engine. And I suppose I've been blessed enough. I have a good enough engine, and lucky enough I'm injury free the whole time, so I don't miss too many trainings. And I suppose it's sticking to me now. Touch wood is right. Mickey, but yeah, I suppose
it's too late for you. Too late for you, Mossy.
I suppose that's it. But
I
knew when I was on Killian Clark as well, he hasn't played really a competitive game in 2 years, realistically, a full 70 minutes. Well, he hasn't, but the league.
No, but even the club.
Yeah, but he was away in America last year, so I knew if I ran and he had to chase me, maybe something might have went.
Well, it puts him on the back foot from day one, from the first moment.
Like I was talking to you beforehand off air, like, and over the last couple of years, you've really, come into your position. You've come into this Cavan setup, and you've just like blown everybody away with your tackling, your engine, which you mentioned yourself already, and your footballing ability. But it's something that Arva seem to have an abundance of at the moment. All these young fellas coming through, the Morrises, yourself, McCabe, you can name...
you can go on and on and on.
Well, what happened? Like, did you all just come together at underage level and work your way up?
I suppose good structures were put in place by Cyril Shorten and Breen Ellis when we were younger, and they helped us a lot. The principal of St Mary's National School in Arva, Vincent Mulvey, he put in great effort. I think he's a PE teacher in Munchconnell or somewhere now, or a PE instructor or something, but... and I suppose, we just all came along together and we all just pushed each other. Kevin Butcher's one of the best players I ever played. I'd say he is probably the best, and he's an abundance of talent. And Mark came week in, week out, unfortunately, training. And I think he just tried to do better on me than the games so he does, because he fair gives me muttons every game. But I suppose we're just so lucky as well that we've good business and everyone's employed locally, and no one's went away. I'd say we're the only club in Cavan that hasn't really lost anyone to immigration, and I suppose we're lucky like that. We have good peers that look after us and treat us fairly with jobs and sort us out and don't see us stuck, I suppose.
It's also a credit to whoever it was over the club at the time, that your underage career with Arva was mainly with St Joe's, and you played Division 1 football all the way through.
Well, that was a big benefit now. Starting off I was to say under 14 training with the minors. I wasn't allowed to play, but I was tugged out in that county final. We lost to the Gales. I was under 14 and tugged out. It shouldn't have been even, because you have to be under 16 as the lowest age group. But we Killashandra at the time with a great team there, just after winning an intermediate 2 years ago. Paddy King and Darragh High and all them boys were magnificent footballers at that time. And the Morrises and them in the Arva part of that group, and it all just came together, and there was a real buzz about the place, and I suppose it's just stuck in place for Arva, and we're lucky. We had a great manager the last 2 years, Kieran Brady, that set the foundations, and this year Brian Doyle has come in, a Leitrim man from Carrigallen. He's put even more discipline on us and shown us some new ideas, and I suppose...
And you're reaping the rewards for it, because he's flying high at the minute.
Well, hopefully it'll stick like that, Mick. You might touch the wood again.
Just to talk briefly, you mentioned last year with Kieran Brady, but your year last year was unbelievable, not just with club, not just with county under-21s, or not just with college. You picked up medals everywhere you went.
I would sure look at, as I said, I'm always injury free, and I don't like missing training. They're getting people's back if they're missing it, and I just suppose if you have a good attitude, I think things pay off for you, and I suppose that's it. Even with the college, I tried the balance. I know at the start of this year I missed a lot of the McKenna Cup with the college because I was kind of involved strongly with them over the management side of things, and I suppose I just want to play with every team and every team I can. And I was talking to Terry Hyland earlier on, or a few months back, and he was just saying about how you're a senior player now, you're out under 21, and I was just saying, geez, Terry, I'm disgusted, to tell you the truth. And I've only seniors left, so I'm down to one team now. I'm out of college. And
No, you've two, because after a few years you can you can join Mossy and the Legends jersey and then.
I suppose when we are talking about the past, Mossy, you know, you've been around the county panel for a number of years and always been a good servant, but this year you had an explosion onto the senior team and really made an impact. I suppose the first game was over in Galway, where you dominated. You went on and had a brilliant campaign up to the very last moment, I suppose. But, you know, a lot of people would say it's a difficult place to be when you're not a consistent starter on the team, but you never quit, you never give in.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's just, yeah, as Kieran was saying there, it's just the lads that's in there now. Like, it's just, even you can see it from years ago. Even me and you were involved, Mickey, years ago. Like, there was never any winning teams coming on, and like these boys, they come on and they just have unbelievable belief, and they're winners. Like, they're after winning Ulster medals, and like they do actually lift you around the place, and you just want to be part of it more than anything else. Like, but it's, I suppose from my own point of view this year myself, it's just, I was probably lucky enough to break on the team, and when I did break on that team, I suppose even with Killian being injured and that, I kind of kept me place in the team, so I was happy enough until the end.
But it's the kind of, there seems to be a setup there at the moment where even if you're not on the starting 15 consistently or whatever, there's about 15 other lads who are not making that panel every week, or that starting 15, but they're all just biting at the bit, waiting to get their chance. Like you did, you trained as hard as everybody else, you waited and waited, you took your chance, you got your chance and you took it. Like,
yeah,
you
well,
know, that's what's happening.
It's all you can do, really, isn't it?
I suppose, to talk briefly about the Roscommon game. You know,
a bit like your performance, it was brief.
Well, it was long enough. But the incident itself, you know, obviously there's a lot of talk after the game about it. Not many people in the stadium actually seen it happen, but all of a sudden you come out at half time. Do you think the referee or umpires actually seen the incident, or do you think it's possible that it was TV in the dressing rooms that they seen it on?
I think I strongly think it was TVs in the dressing rooms that seen it, because there was at least 3 attacks had gone and the whistle had been blown and it was brought back up, and like that two linesmen were each side, so I don't know if they obviously can talk to each other. So for that to go unnoticed and then to come out at half time and then
of course, Mossy, whatever, you must have got injured in the dressing room as well at half time, because you were substituted as well at half time, and you were up in the stand when Martin Dunn was on the pitch, and the referee called Martin over and says, go over there and tell Mossy Cole I want to have a chat with him. You came back out onto the pitch and he issued you with a red card. You were being substituted though at the time.
Yeah.
So you were.
It was a very strange sequence of events, I have to say, because obviously from our point of view we were commentating on the game at the time, and we seen you
it's a bit of a Chris Camaro,
you know, we genuinely didn't know what was after going on, and then when we heard about it throughout the course of the second half, it just honestly stank that something went wrong. That, you know, we heard it on RTE, they were talking about the incident and highlighting it at half time, and then all of a sudden the referee comes out and makes a decision like that. I personally thought, listen, when you do what you've done, you deserve the punishment, but not in that scenario. Maybe at the end of the game or retrospective action. He
did make a lot of it though.
He did. He definitely did. Yeah. And in the build-up to that, in the build-up to the actual you lifting the hand, what wasn't shown, and when you look back at the game, was that he was tangling with you first. That the incident, and yet the referee never took a yellow card to him or anything for being the initiator. So you probably do feel hard done by.
Well, there was no doubt about it. It was just one of them moments. I just lost my temper and it was stupid, like. But it's, I suppose, just the way you can't do that in the football field anyway, especially nowadays. Like, but it was just probably the way it happened. It was a little bit disappointing. point.
It'll drive you on for another year, though. Any thoughts of retirement are gone now. You'll push on for another year.
Yeah.
I seen you with your tongue out at the over 35s. You're mad to play that, so you were a few weeks ago.
Legends, yeah.
The legends. I suppose speaking of legends,
Yes.
we better bring in Barry, because you introduced him as Ballyhays player. He's also a former Cavan player.
Yeah.
You know, and a legend in his own house. Probably no further. But Barry, to bring you in, you're now a resident in Spain,
I am,
and you've started up a GA club.
Well, yeah, we have our own GA club where we live. There's a Galician National League happening in the northwest of Spain. It's just above Portugal. So, I mean, everybody knows about the Basque Country, they know about Catalonia, but the other third autonomous region is Galicia, and we have there our own national league. So this year I think we're hoping to count on 14 teams.
Wow.
Now, I didn't set it up, okay, but it came from the Spanish lads living there, or the Galician lads, you know. So in a league of about maybe 400 or 500 players, there's about 4 or 5 Irish people in it.
Wow.
That's just phenomenal.
So it's the locals that are playing the game.
And I'm one of them now. It is the locals, yeah. It's
Right, and what do they think of the game? Like,
they love it. I'm shocked how much they've bought into the GA ethos, you know. It's coming from small towns, families, friends, neighbours, you know. Everything that the lads here are living, you know, and what you have lived, lads, you know. But it's fascinating. The game's a little different. Like, they are playing on soccer pitches, because to get GA dimensions outside of Ireland is almost impossible, bar Australia. So they play 11 against 11. But in all senses, it's Gaelic football.
and what's the standard like?
There's no defensive system then.
But one kick pass sends you into attack.
I'm going to introduce a sweeper system.
That's what you're asking, was it?
I mean, like, our club has just started this year, and you know, lads are only beginning, and you start from the very basic, doing solos and kick passing. But I know when you go into the Irish diaspora and you see games being played, and you obvious thing to do is make a comparison with the club standard here. You know, it's never going to reach that level, you know, because like the lads here have started since they were kids, you know, and they're at it every week. Whereas these lads have started as adults, and you know, some of the basics that skills takes a bit of time to get used to it. There's lads coming from basketball, Olympic handball, so they have some of the natural skills of ball control, upper body strength.
Defensive systems from the basketball.
But I would say there's at least 3 or 4 players now would be good enough to play club level here, a senior level.
Right, brilliant. Excellent.
I was absolutely shocked at one guy in Santiago. He's about your build, Mickey, and he would have had some of your attributes.
That's small.
It's the chair. It's the chair, all right?
He's moved the chair up. But yeah, no, catching ability, upper strength, kicking ball, you know, the basics, yeah.
And you just mentioned you have set up a club within your town, is it, that you live in, or?
Well, I live in a town called Villa Garcia, and beside us there's an island, something like Achill Island. There's a bridge out to it.
Okay.
So we've set up a team there. It's called Dorna, and they're all from the island.
That are playing.
Yeah.
And when you say the region of Spain that the competition is run, the 14 teams, how big of an area is it?
Well, I mean, they have the Iberian Championship, which is all of Spain. So you would get Madrid Harps, team from Valencia, Barcelona, and they're really teams that have Irish or English people that are living in the diaspora, you know.
Okay.
It's set up by Irish people, but in our region, it's all the Galician lads, and Galicia covers maybe about 2 million people.
Wow.
Yeah, so it is growing. I've seen this week that there's 2 or 3 teams are hoping to join the league this year. So we have 2 divisions. We've the first division, which is about 5 or 6 teams, so the traditional teams for the last 4 or 5 years, and the newer teams are in the second division. So it is growing.
It's amazing to think that parts of Spain, Portugal, as you say, that they're, you know, where do they get the inspiration to see the game? Is it on TV they're seeing it, or is it an Irish person introducing it first?
Well, it was actually one chap, Bent is his name. He came to Ireland as a kid, and he went to Wexford, and he fell in love with the game. And I think he came back after an All-Ireland final, and he said, I want to do this at home. And he got together with his mates, and no more than our own guys in our team in Spain, Dorna. The lads went to a car park one evening, they got to O'Neill's football, started kicking around, and the following week they had their Facebook page up, and then I think they had 15 or 20 after that, you know.
It's
Maybe
just
that's
brilliant.
where McCann did his training. You know, bringing in the Spanish diving or whatever. Yeah, McCann from Tyrone.
Oh, yes.
That's where he
Yeah.
got his diving ability from.
I suppose you don't touch my hair. Yeah, exactly. Whatever you do. The reason we were late going on air this evening was because Barry spent so long in makeup. It just took he took control of it. You have a jersey.
I have 2 jerseys, Damien. I'm sorry I didn't have the Galician one because our lads in our region we have like a county team, which is the Galician national team, and they went to Abu Dhabi for the World Games.
Yes, the World Games.
So they're involved. They played against Argentina, which they lost against in the final. They played against South Africa. And the next GA games will be World Games will be in Dublin. Next
And you have a particular role.
Yeah, I'm the water boy. I'm the manager of the team, so I'm
Brilliant.
delighted with that.
Congratulations.
It's great, you know, 'cause to represent the province and to help out is amazing, you know.
Absolutely brilliant.
So I'm sorry I don't have the national team with me jersey. This is our club one. This is Dorna. I don't know what camera I'm looking at. This one is it?
Yeah,
That's
perfect.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So
That's a lovely jersey.
Dorna is one of the boats on the islands, a traditional boat that they would have used for fishing. Okay, and they still use it. They've local brands, local businesses involved. Okay, this is I sponsor the team.
And they've the Cavan
we've
crest.
We've used the Cavan crest on the sponsorship as well. Yeah.
To bring the connection. Brilliant.
Yeah.
You sponsor them. What are you doing out there, Barry? Just if you want to give it a
I'm an
plug.
English teacher, Mickey. I have a private English academy and I have an English summer camp. We bring kids Spanish kids mainly to Cavan for the summer.
Oh, very good.
To learn Cavan English.
Cavan English, yeah.
It's proper.
It's proper English, hey.
Do you stop?
It's the best understood English in Cavan.
Do you stop at Whitegate where the sign up? You're in Cavan now, so yeah.
That's when the classes start. That's Dorna, and
Beautiful.
that's I don't know if you can see that. That's the Galician symbol. The Galician.
Oh, lovely.
Federation.
Just lift it up.
Again,
No.
maybe we can. Yeah, we're close enough.
Tell you
Yeah.
what, throw that
Yeah.
over to me. I'll get it on the other camera, so I will. When you're going, you talk
Yeah.
away about that one.
Before we set up the Dorna team, I was playing for the Vigo University Gaelic team, and they've changed the name recently to Celtoi Vigo, which is Greek for Celta Vigo. This is the
Ah.
Celta Vigo Gaelic team.
That is a lovely jersey.
I have to say I really like this one.
That's
you
a beautiful jersey.
know.
Wow.
That's the back
So
of it.
Celtai Vigo
Yeah.
and Ferry.
Beautiful.
Jesus.
Player fit, lads. So I probably won't fit you. So I'm sorry about that.
That's brilliant. They're absolutely beautiful. Well,
Yeah, they are.
We'll
Come-
bring them with us, don't we?
well, you wouldn't even make an effort to dress up for it.
Tight, so he does.
But no, congratulations, Barry. It's a phenomenal story. You're in Spain a right while now.
About 2007.
Okay.
Came in, yeah. Well, I was working in language school and met my wife there, and we have a little girl, Alana, so we're residents there. But look, home's always home, and it's great to get home.
And
And to get involved, sorry, Damien, to be still involved with G out there is fantastic. And what we'd like to do is, it's very hard to describe it. You know, okay, we're having a conversation here to see what's happening out there. But we had the Galician Cup, and we had all the teams there on a one-day tournament. The atmosphere was fantastic. We had GA games happening from 9 o'clock in the morning in about 25 degrees until about 7 o'clock that evening. It was game after game. And it was just, I know Igno Farr wants to promote GA abroad, and it's going global. Like you asked before about the standard. Like the lads just go on YouTube and they see training drills, and they're doing it, you know. Like the best team in Spain has no Irish connections whatsoever, and the trainer, he's one of the best, you know, he's fantastic.
And you know, when the lads go over to New York, like the lads did and whatever for their training camp or whatever, when the championship is over, they get phone calls, you know, to go over to New York to play with Boston or whatever. Are you going to be doing that? Because I'm available for sunny training, no problem. Sure, yeah.
I don't think so. But I was chatting to Terry during the week. I know the lads were name dropping Terry.
get it in there, Barry. Well done.
But we want to bring the Cavan lads across. Okay, that's one of our plans, you know. And maybe down the line, we are starting, but it is growing. And okay, look, things have to be financed, money has to be talked about, and to organise these kind of things, you know, it does need no more than in Cavan. Doesn't need local involvement in terms of business. So maybe it could be a way for us to generate a good link between Cavan and that part of Spain, you know, get teams across for the training camps and maybe go out for a night, you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely
God, we won't be
brilliant.
on to
Well, look, if you need media coverage, you've got
Yeah,
A and B
no problem.
phone calls
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the time there. We can...
We're much better at doing it on site.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
much better at doing it. Yeah.
I think I can speak for Kieran and Mossy when they say they agree to go over to Spain for a training camp. I think they
I don't think
definitely
you get
will.
a visa from Mossy, would you?
No, we were just saying, and again to Sheridan Insurance, it's the only question on the personal health insurance is, have you played against Mossy Core in the last 5
They can
years?
put up
Because
your premium.
premium just goes through the roof if you've played or plan on playing against them in the future.
2 years are lucky, isn't it?
That's why we both retired, so it is.
That's why I moved to county to play football somewhere else where it's safer.
Exactly. Well, look, we have to take a quick commercial break, but the lads are going to stay for part 2 where we're going to talk about the club championship that was going on at the weekend. So don't go anywhere.
Cavan Crystal Hotel provides 4-star accommodation on the edge of Cavan town. Located conveniently on the Dublin Road, just 60 minutes away from Dublin. With 85 beautifully appointed bedrooms and a number of luxurious suites. We offer wedding packages. With our one wedding a day policy, we guarantee to make yours a special day. Enjoy a meal at our award-winning Opus One restaurant, or have a drink in the atrium or residence bars. Feeling energetic? You can work out in Zest Health and Fitness Club, or maybe pamper yourself and visit Utopia Health and Beauty Clinic, or Avita's Hair Salon, both located on site. Situated only 5 minutes from Cavan Town Centre and local amenities. Cavan Crystal Hotel, gateway to Ireland's Lakelands.
Welcome back to part 2, and we'll start now by concentrating on the Hotel Kilmore and Cully's Craft Bakery Club Championships. We'll start off with the junior.
We will indeed. And in Group A, Curla were taking on Kill, and Curla, who had a good win the week beforehand, came a cropper here against Kill. It was Kill 5 goals and 18 points, Curla 1 goal and 8, and that old cliche can be definitely used in that one. Goals win games.
They sure do, and 10 points on top of them.
As well,
yeah, exactly. It always does. Lads, feel free to jump in if you're at any of these games and let us know the ones you're at. But I know we'll come through to the ones that you might have been at later on. The other game in Group A was Mahara, and they were taking on Muncher Connacht. Big local derby here, but Muncher Connacht come out with a convincing win, 5 goals and 18 points as well to Mahara's 3 points.
And Mahara, who would have been missing a couple of players from their performance the week beforehand.
Exactly.
Against Corla.
Yeah, they were.
3 sent off and 2 black carded, I think it was.
Yeah, but what I was told, and I didn't hear much about this game other than the Mahara goalkeeper was absolutely outstanding. Even though he let in 5 goals, he made 7 or 8 outstanding saves and basically tried his very best to keep them in the game. But that was the outstanding performance apparently of the game, which is not too common that you hear somebody that's in 5 goals and still is probably man of the match. So well done to him. But you'll see now coming up on your screen how that's affected the Group A table, with the top team in this group going into division or into the semi-final, and the second team then goes into the playoff. The table should be just coming up on your screen now. Or actually, maybe it is up on the screen already, sorry about that. So you can see on top there is Kill with 4 points.
And Muncher Connacht are in second with 2, with Curla on 2 points as well. And Mahara sitting down the bottom on 0 points. But it means that the last game in that group is going to be the main event.
Yeah, well, basically, what it does is leaves that the round 3 of that group, which I think is coming up this weekend, will see Kill taking on Mahara and Muncher Connacht taking on Corla. And if Kill and Muncher Connacht win, then it's Kill going through on top, Muncher Connacht going through second.
Yes.
It's fairly straightforward.
Or if Corla beat Muncher Connacht. Either whoever wins the Curla Muncher Connacht game
goes through in
the
second.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So that brings us on then to the Cully's Craft Bakery Junior Championship Group B clash. There was only one game in this group, and that saw Cornafane taking on Templeport. It was always going to be a big game. It was always going to be a tough one. Cornafane came out with the 1 point victory here. It finished a goal and 11 to Cornafane and a goal and 10 to Templeport.
Yeah,
so
Templeport sitting at the top of the Division 3 league. Cornafane are in third place, who have to play Kildallan in last. So they were obviously going to be two of the favourites for this championship, and Templeport will still have a say in that championship yet.
yeah, they will indeed. I suppose, Kieran, you definitely played Cornafane last year and the year before.
Yeah,
Don't know if you've played Templeport.
We actually went to the game yesterday. I said,
Did you?
We're out of junior now, but I said I still have an interest in it. So yeah, Templeport were in the game for long stages and looked like they could have clinched it a few times, but I think Cornafane just showed more resilience and hunger. I thought the experience, most lads, to play Cornafane, you don't get away with an easy win on it, and it went like that yesterday. Cornafane came away with 1 point win. Barry Doyle, I suppose, been the main standout player.
Yeah, heard that today, all right. Outstanding. Centre forward.
Centre forward, yeah, but he floated in full forward and out again, and he was in and out, and I suppose he's very hard to handle. He's pace and he's left and right foot, and he plays like a back. He's very tenacious. He's a very good ball winner. So, and Cornafane are improving. The three Whartons there, which are bringing in a bit of youth, and I know they're as dedicated footballers in the county, so they'll surely bring a bit of professionalism to Cornafane. And I know Lawrence Brady is over them, Kieran Senior's brother, so I'm sure they've good structures in place.
Yeah, like last year you bet them by a point or two, I think it was, in the semi-final.
I think it was a point in the semi-final. Yeah, as I said, they're never easy beaten, and we led that game for long stages, about 4 or 5 points, but they never went away, and I think Jerry Shorten or someone got a goal near at the death, so we just hung on. But I don't think Jerry Shorten's playing this year, I'm not sure.
But they're in the last 3-4 years, they've been consistently in the semi-finals or final of that junior championship. They're not going to be too far away again this year.
They're not. But if Templeport get a run back, I'd say they could go a bit of a distance too. We lost our first game last year against Ballymcue, a similar sort of thing. A young team against a physical team like Ballymcue, the same as Cornafane. It's very similar. So you never know. Templeport could take great lessons from the game and go far in this championship. So.
Yeah, they could do. We'll just have a quick look at the Group B table there coming up on your screen, and as you can see, sitting on top of Group B is
Shannon Gales with 2 points, Cornafane with 2 points, and Templeport and Ballymcue are both on 0 points at the bottom of the table, but Cornafane and Shannon Gales both with 2 points in that table.
Yeah, and then this coming weekend in Group B you have Ballymcue taking on Templeport, Shannon Gales taking on Cornafane. It definitely was the group of death for the junior championship this year, because any one of them 4 teams would have probably hopes of winning a junior championship.
Yeah, so it's got all the big guns in there in that group. So
yeah, so it'll definitely come down to the round 3, which will be the following weekend. Then moving on to the Group C in the Cully's Craft Bakery Junior Championship. There's only one game in Group C this weekend, and it was Knockbride against Kildallan. And Knockbride came away with a 5-point win here, which was a surprise, I'd say, to most people.
Yeah, well, they've played each other a couple of times this year, and it's been very tight. I think Kildallan got 1 win, and I think Knockbride could have beaten them in the Breffni League or something, but it's been tight between the two of them. And
it wasn't too tight though, 2-10 to 2-5, and Knockbride will be delighted with that. A young team, again, they're doing a lot of good work on their age, Knockbride, but Kildallan would have fancied the chances to win that game.
Definitely, yeah, they would indeed, and that's a setback for their championship hopes. But every time you say Cully's Craft Bakery, I think have you seen those 2 boys from Arva, Kieran, have you, that have done the adverts on Facebook?
I was in class with one of them actually, Podge Gill. He'd love a shout out on this. I don't know if he'd be watching it, but he's loving every bit of limelight he's getting on every other.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you have to see it. It's
100,000 hits, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, 100,000 hits. There's 2 two boys, they're brothers, they're sitting in a car and they're doing adverts for Flood's Taxis, Cully's Bakery,
Jordan's Machinery.
the whole lot. They're just doing these really, really funny.
No way.
How do you doing? I'm Philip Flood, and I'm Tommy Flood, and we are Flood's Taxis. It's absolutely, but they did one for Cully's Craft Bakery as well.
We'll have to try and get that on the show in the coming weeks.
We'll have to share that. So
Yeah, definitely. So
just thought I'd throw that in there, lads.
yeah. So that you can see now, hopefully coming up on your screen, the Group C tables, and sitting on top of that is Knockbride. They have 1 game played and 2 points, and then underneath is Mount Nugent,
obviously
Kildallan. Mount Nugent have no games played. There's only 3 teams in that group, so it leaves it that Mount Nugent have 2 weeks in a row now to play the 2 teams, and they can get themselves into top position, or Knockbride can hold on to it.
Exactly. So the next game in that group sees Kildallan taking on Mount Nugent, so that's a must-win for Kildallan, and also a must-win for Mount Nugent as well, I suppose, if they want to go on in that championship as well.
It is indeed. Actually, it's actually almost knockout, that game.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Hotel Kilmore Intermediate Football Championship, and the first game in this was on Thursday evening in Kingspan Breffni Park. Ballybor were taking on Killincare. Ballybor come away with a 2-point victory, a goal in 8 to 9 points.
You
Mickey,
were at this game.
You were at this game as well.
I was indeed, yeah. Killincare, outstanding in the first half, probably didn't get enough scores on the board. They dominated the first half, but Ballybor were a different team when they came out after half time. They had a couple of outstanding performers. Sean Cooney was one at wing back. He was absolutely brilliant. The half back line, in fact, were absolutely fantastic. But Killincare had a couple of good performances. Young McCabe, he was wearing number 15. He dropped back as a sweeper and he mocked up an awful lot of ball, got his hands on a lot of ball, got a lot of tackles on, and got a few blocks. He was brilliant, but it was one that ebbed and flowed, and it could have went either way. Killincare had a couple of goal chances, took points instead. Ballybor had a couple of goal chances, went for them, and ended up getting one in the end. And it was the goal that won the game in the end for Ballybor.
It was, and credit to Ballybor. They led with the first score, and then the next time they led was 56 minutes. Killincare led the whole way through, but they just kept battling and kept going at it, and I think it was a good enough game, actually. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but watching it back,
it was a tight game.
Yeah, there was a lot of it was hard hitting. It was good and fair.
It was 1 piece after 20 minutes, and
That's
then Killincare kicked on and ended up being 6-2 ahead. They were 6-1 up just before half time, and Ballybor got another point just to leave it 4 points between them at half time. So.
That's right. The second game in the Intermediate Championship saw Butler's Bridge taking on Drumlane, and the underdogs won this one. Butler's Bridge came away with a 3-point victory, 1 goal and 10 points to Drumlane's 1 goal and 7. I heard a little bit about this. I don't know if any of you were at it or heard much about it, but Butler's Bridge led from just before half time. They got a goal just before half time, and were leading and held the lead the whole way through. Apparently, Declan Callahan was wing back and outstanding, but Noel McPhillips, 40-year-old, absolutely brilliant at centre back.
Well, he played against Drummondley a couple of weeks ago up in Drummondley, and I have to say he stood out that day. He was absolutely magnificent. He got up and down the pitch. You said he's 40 years of age. He was playing like a 20-year-old that day against Drummondley as well, and he's obviously brought it on now to championship as well. So it was a bit of a surprise, all right. It was a local derby, so they're always hard to call. So they are. But like Drumlane would have had high hopes of going on.
Well, like
intermediate this year. So.
Drumlane operating a division higher, hoping for promotion out of 1B, pushing along with Arva, and then you have Butler's Bridge in the middle of Division 2, which is the third tier. So on league form, you would have said Drumlane should be going through on this, but you'd have played with a couple of the players involved, Queevy and Riley with the County Under-21s this year gone by, and Ryan Connolly, I suppose, was involved in the panel, but there's some talented, obviously Fergal Flanagan as well. He had a very good game in the middle of the field for Butler's Bridge, but there's some talent on both sides there.
Yeah, and I think you forgot to mention there Michael McDermott, if you know him, he's corner forward for Butler's Bridge, so they have a potent attack there with Queevy and Michael. They're very direct forwards. They're two lads you wouldn't like to mark at training. They're no messing about with them, to take you on, so they pose a threat. And on the other side, I suppose Ryan Connolly for Drumlane is their main focal point there, but they were missing Kieran O'Reilly, I think his
That's
name,
right.
nickname
Yeah.
Smoothie, so
Yeah.
he'd be a second forward. He was a massive
That's
loss.
lost.
for
It's
us.
interesting, Kieran keeps saying you wouldn't like to be marking them when you go out on the pitch. And I know that all those lads, when they're going out on the pitch at under 21 level, or senior level, are going,
I hope not marking
Kieran Holla. Oh no. That's a testament to you, so it is. That's a compliment, so it is.
Yeah, but the third game was on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock in Kinshpan Breffni Park, and it was Ballyhaise against Swanland Bar, two of the teams that would have been tipped as maybe the top 3-4 teams in the Intermediate Championship, but Ballyhaise came away with a convincing victory here, a goal and 17 points to a goal and 9, and you were at this, Barry, obviously,
I was at it,
your own
yeah.
club.
I was very impressed with Ballyhaise. I mean, they didn't get any wides really. I think Stephen Smith was superb. Anything he got his hands on and knocked it over.
7
I think he
points
missed
from play.
one.
That's right, he had one.
There was a few moments of inflection in the match that Swad could have got back into the goal chance, and that went. And after that, Ballyhaise just drove on. You know, impressed with Sean McCormick in the middle of the field, made some great catches. And up front again, a lot of young lads. There were a lot of energy. They were free. They were aggressive, taking on lads. You know.
When you consider they're missing Kevin Tierney as well, like who'd be
Barry McCrudden.
Barry McCrudden as well, like
Yeah.
you know, like they're huge players to come back into that squad.
Yeah, I think Barry will probably come back into around the middle of the field and catch ball, give Sean a hand out there. I think Sean's legs are a bit tired, and Gerard Kieran, you know, he did well when he got going. Kevin, well, like he'll have to get his place in the team now as well, you know.
Well, you didn't mention Conor Lyons, who I believe was absolutely outstanding. He was marking Gerard, I believe.
Yeah,
He done a
he
man
did a
marking
job.
job.
He
Like.
did a job,
He marked me in Ballyhaise a couple of years ago.
Last
In
year.
the- Was it
Last
last year?
year,
The
yeah,
league match
yeah.
last year. And I don't think I touched the ball for the whole game, and I don't think he touched the ball for the whole game. But that was his job. You know, he stopped me
Yeah.
from playing. Now, he didn't foul me. He just never left my side.
And he
You know,
done the
did
same to
with
Gerard.
Gerard.
Yeah, he just ran with him.
You know, and
it
that's
was obvious that was his job, you know.
Yeah.
And look, you know yourself, lads, you can have 15 great footballers in a team, but someone has to do a bit of the legwork
Yeah.
too, you
Yeah.
know.
Credit to him. I suppose talking about Stephen Smith though, when it was one of those days where everything was just gold. He was out in the middle of the field catching ball. He was back in his own full back line, turning over possession. He was scoring points. He had just one of those perfect days.
Yeah, no, you know when you watch a match and you see one lad, he's on fire, and everything he does, he takes the right option, and it was just a pleasure to watch. Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really involved with Ballyhaise last year. He struggled with injury throughout the year, never really got onto the team at any stage. So he's like a new player on top of the new players like David Brady.
Yeah, well, there's another young player they didn't mention, Eamon Brady. Eamon's a young fella come on playing in goals there for Ballyhaise.
Yeah, young fella's right. Is right. There was actually a very funny moment at half time as they were coming off, and
The fighting.
well, yeah, we don't like to call it fighting. A bit of handbags. It was going on, but
Getting to know each other.
getting to know each other. But one of the Swanland Bar players was walking alongside David Brady, and he was having a quiet word, just asking him how he was and was he doing okay. And Eamon obviously heard something about it and took fierce offence to it and ran straight over to the son's aid. It was a funny moment. Now, he didn't do anything other than to stand and go, "Hey, now watch your mouth, you. That's my son you're talking to." It was a funny moment, but it's a unique occasion, I suppose, to see in an intermediate championship father and son on the same team.
I think it's a beautiful moment for a family to have father and son playing, you know, and at a serious level. Look, we all want to win, but at the end of the day, have a good time and get out there, and the fact that father and son, and you see them training, just two other players training away, you know.
That's my
fantastic.
plan. That's my plan as well, you know.
Yeah.
I'll be 50 years of age, but I'll still be trying to kick football, so I will. What do you reckon, Mossy?
Are you not 50 yet?
Oh, that's
Moving swiftly on.
Yeah, indeed. So this coming weekend in the Intermediate Championship, you've got round 2, which is the backdoor version, basically. And the first game in round 2 sees Drumlane taking on Red Hills. And the second game will see Swanland Bar taking on Shercock.
Huge one.
Massive game, absolutely big. That's going to be one very strong team out of the Intermediate Championship already this coming weekend.
Yeah.
And then
Which will
the
leave the favourites again this year, Ballyhaise, with an easy run to an intermediate championship.
Yeah, there's no favourites in intermediate. See, there's no that.
there is every single
Every
year
year.
it's Ballyhaise. It's always
This is the Mayo
Ballyhaise.
of Cavan football season.
This year we're going to win it.
If you win the intermediate, that means the Mayo are going to win the All Ireland as well. So
Well, anything's
we'll do the
possible,
double.
you know,
It'll
but
be a
We'll,
nice
ch-
bet.
we'll check the Paddy Power odds on that one, so we
Yeah,
will.
definitely.
It'll be a good one. Moving on to the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship. The first game was between Killygarry and Crushalot. I think it was Friday night, and it finished Killygarry a goal in 11 and Crushalot a goal in 8. So 3-point win. Any is that it? No, training. You weren't training.
in-betweeners.
In-betweeners, more importantly. I was at it. Andy Mcgovern was the talking point. Absolutely brilliant. He wore number 10 but played as a sweeper, which we had been talking about all year. Killygarry had been going out and attacking teams, but they were leaking a world of goals. They were conceding huge amounts in games, winning some games as well, but they needed to sort out something with their defence. But they sorted it out. When Andy went back in as a sweeper, it just set them up so well that, going forward they had a lot more presence and security behind them that they could expose and go on full out attack.
Crushalot would have been missing their sweeper in Darren McVitie,
Yes.
who's away at the minute. Like, it would have been a huge loss for Crushalot.
Yeah, definitely would have been now. But Barry McKiernan, we were doing again the commentary on this one, and throughout the game we were kind of saying that the Killygarry full-back line had held. Paul Cahill had done very well on Barry McKiernan, but as Paul said to me at the time, it just takes 5 minutes for Barry McKiernan and he can whack in 4 or 5. He scored 1-2 in the space of 5 minutes and brought Crushalot back into the game. But Killygarry held on, and with a young team, it is a very young Killygarry team in general. You have Matty McKenna there, you have Brian Shane and Paddy's lad, you have a few other young fellas.
Galligan coming on as
Fintan
well.
Galligan come on as well. You have a lot of young players on that team, and more to come. Dara Gannon was injured from the week before with County Minors, young Kennedy as well. So it's a good win for Killygarry, and they'll be happy with the progression into the next round of the championship.
The next game saw Cavan Gales taking on Kilcullins. This was down in Virginia, and it was on Saturday night, I believe.
Saturday evening,
Yeah, it
6
was
o'clock.
Cavan Gales 5 goals and 11 points. Kilcullins 4 points. A very disappointing result for Kilcullins. Ronnie, is that one, lads? No, he's made that one there. Martin Dunn being the standout player in that one with a hat-trick of goals. And I was talking to one of the Kilcullins lads last week, and they were quite confident going into this game. So, it just shows you a bad day at the races for Kilcullins and a 5 goals and 11 points leaked in.
Yeah, it's funny, the people that I had heard, Martin Dunn obviously played very well. Robert Maloney Derham in the middle of the field had a good game. Niall Murray was excellent, absolutely brilliant. He marked Conor Smith and apparently nullified Conor Smith completely. And Kevin Meehan, who was on the county panel 2 years ago, I think. But he had a very good game at cornerback as well. So Dara Sexton, who was county on the 21 centre back a couple of years back, played centre back instead of Chesty, who's retired, and again had a very good game. So Cavan Gales, for all of the worries of relegation in the league, look like they're turning on the form at the right time of the year. So that was a very convincing win. I suppose from what I heard from neutrals, the big disappointment was Cuhullins did not play anywhere near the standard that they met last year. They missed 3 very easy scoring chances in the first few minutes to keep them in touch, and just didn't manage to take them, and chances that last year they seemed to be able to slot over at their ease. So I suppose it's back to the drawing board for Cuhullins, but they get another chance.
They do indeed.
The next game saw Lacken taking on, I keep going, Mickey, you're all right.
It's your turn.
The
No, I
next,
didn't have it, yes,
the next game saw Lacken taking on Gowna. This was in Mullahoran on Saturday evening, and it finished Lacken a goal in 10 and Gowna 12 points. Were you at this one? Do you go to any football matches, Mossy?
He was training the whole time.
Don't go out.
That man's in the gym the whole time, so he is.
Crazy.
Eating weight.
Geordie Shore. Geordie Shore. Well, I was at this one, surprisingly enough. I go to the odd game, so I do. But Lacken tore out in the first half and took a huge lead in at half time. I think they were leading by 6 points at half time. Gowna started to plug back into it. The talking points had to be the amount of cards. Poor Tony Gregory's cards were worn out by the end of it. I think he had a total of 5 black cards. It was maybe 7 or 8 yellow cards and 2 or 3 red cards.
The only
it
time
was
this year I
just
can remember more cards going out was between Gowna and Arva. The common denominator in both games is Gowna.
Well, we're not making any assumptions here. I'm definitely not anyway. The chairman of the county board can take that up with you, so he can, Mickey. But no, it was. In fairness, it wasn't an easy game. The referee, because look, between the two teams, they know each other extremely well with Southern Gales minor amalgamations, and and then just it'd be a local derby as well. So it was
bad
difficult,
weather.
but
It was the inclement weather that left the ground slippy and boys slipping into each
that's
other.
it. And as I said, it was the air out in Mullaghorn that I think drove the two teams mad. it's the Mullaghorn blood or the Mullaghorn air. One or the other drives us mad. So.
You're a Mullaghorn man.
Yeah, well, exactly. Myself and Mossy both have Mullaghorn blood in us, so we can't. We can say stuff like that without. Yeah, exactly. But the talking points then, other than the cards, would have been a good performance by Robbie Fitzpatrick for Gowna in a corner forward. David Hyland was absolutely excellent. Thought he was a full of energy, full of running, playing at full forward, but came out the field a lot and started to set up stuff. Thomas Galligan for Lacken, excellent game in the middle of the field. He was
just trying to set there. So
he was
flexed his muscle and it just knocked off.
Popped.
Yeah.
But then Raymond Galligan, the game was getting tight in the second half. There was a few red cards after going and it was getting sloppy, but Raymond Galligan got a free, kicking against the wind on the just about 5 yards outside the 45-metre line, right on the sideline, put it down and slotted over the bar, and they ended up winning the game by 1 point. Gowna went up the other end, got another point to bring it back, but leave 1 point between it. So it was absolutely brilliant score by Raymond Galligan, and he had a good enough game too, coming out around middle of the field some of the time to pick up ball. But it was an entertaining game, very entertaining game. And what it actually showed me or said to me was that sometimes we put too many games into Kingspan Breffni Park because the atmosphere was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. The supporters were right on top of the field. The stand was full of people. It is a great venue, and
it's an intimate venue, so
it is. Well, I'll tell you, it was fairly intimate between the two teams because they got to know each other. But it was entertaining. I have to say, brilliant game, and anybody who was there really enjoyed it.
The next game saw Den taking on Ballina. Mossy, you were at this game. We get to talk to you about this one.
Finally.
Den 1-7, Ballina 15 points. It was a 5-point win for Ballina. Disappointing. We said we'd come back to you about this game later on. Disappointing after your win against Drumgoon, and as you said earlier on, you just didn't perform against Ballina to the capabilities that you could have.
No, I don't think we performed, but on the other hand, Ballina, a very, very good team, and they're going to be I think they will be at the business end at the end of the year.
They've really made themselves one of them teams, haven't they?
They have, yeah. But even their age at the moment, like there've been an awful lot of lads there about 26, 27, are just coming into their prime, and just then you've got like say Niall McDermott is just outstanding, free taking, winning the ball. 8 points in the first half. Like he's class, like there's no doubt about it. But even around the middle there, Thomas Moore, all them lads were just.
I believe Thomas Moore had a great game.
Yeah, it just the whole centre diamond of them. They were very strong, like up the core.
David Finnegan was quite impressive at centre forward too. And then Paddy Carroll operated out around the middle of the field, marking you. He wasn't in at full back, so it meant that they had to put Killian McBride kind of as a full back, but Mark and Ted, he done a very good job on a wonderful footballer. Like you have a couple of forwards there. We mentioned Ted there, but Ben Connolly for me was unbelievable. I thought he was the outstanding player on both sides.
Yeah, he was outstanding. Now Ben is great. He's got it, even against Drumgoon. I think he scored 2-2, 2-3 or 2-4. I'm not too sure, but like he was outstanding again. Yes, and like for a young lad, he's only 19. Yeah,
he's brave.
Funny about that.
But there was one ball I think you put it into him, and it was a high ball in onto the square. And well, I don't know if it was you putting it in. I'm only trying to get at you. But somebody put it in. It was a high ball in, and his man was literally up to the shoulder, and his man jumped up and was kind of in front of him, but he timed his jump perfectly. As your man was coming down, he palmed it down. Ben hit the ground before him, caught the break, and stuck it over the bar. It was just brilliant, and some of his tackling. He turned over the ball 2 or 3 times just with tenacious tackling.
Yeah, he's very tenacious now. You couldn't fault him.
He's got Den blood in him anyway. That's for sure.
Hopefully now, even because he's been overlooked even the last couple of years because of his height, at county level.
He has had a couple of injuries, hasn't he, as well?
He would have had, but it's probably more. But like he's putting in some great performances.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, he's a quality footballer. Like he just doesn't stop. And as you said, like he'll tackle and tackle and tackle. He's well able to get on the ball and then score as well. Great vision.
But overall, though, like Ballina were like just I said it to the lads earlier, they're just a better team, like, you know, and they were just that bit more hunger to the breaking ball, and maybe we just kind of had a bit of a.
They've really made the breakthrough into senior and kept themselves up
you'd
there.
You'd know that they were just that bit more experienced and they knew how to snuff out.
They just found it easier to get scores. You just had to work extremely hard to get scores, and then they'd go up. I was saying about Colin Gumley, I'd say he touched the ball 5 times, he scored 4 points. You know, it was just that, you know.
The players around him, though, it was just, you know, they made it. It's like even Kevin De Bun there. And
very good game.
They just mop up breaking ball. Like, it's just very, I thought I was very impressed with them yesterday. I know maybe. But I think they'll be thereabouts come the championship.
I think you're right. I think it'll be a good team that'll beat them anyway. The next game was Coothill against Lavey, again in Kingspan Breffni Park yesterday evening, and that saw Coothill coming away with the victory. 2 goals and 11 points to Lavey's 15 points. Anybody at it?
You know the answer.
No. You went home. You went straight home after. You didn't even stay to watch it. Coothill. I was at this one, funny enough, yeah. I think we'll just call this the Damien was at a game show. But yeah, it was, Coothill were full value for their victory here.
Was it a 2-point win or a 1? Or 2 point, yeah.
There was 2 points. Yeah. So 3 points. Or 2 points, yeah. Probably the talking points on it, or for me, Ray Cullivan actually looked very good in the middle of the field. I commented before the game that I thought he looked a little bit heavy, and then he went out and he was mobile, he was leaping, fierce well, catching ball, and his kick passing was just absolutely brilliant. There was a couple of great goal chances he created by just a lovely ball in behind the defence to a man that was 1v1, and they just didn't manage to finish any of them. But
I was talking to a Lavey man today, and he agreed with he said the same as you, that Lavey dominated the middle of the field. In particular, it was Ray Cullivan who dominated. Maybe he's not as mobile as he was, but he was still well able to get up and win ball. And as you said, putting in lovely ball in for the forwards and the whole lot. And for Lavey to have won midfield and lost the game, it's surprising. Did a black card though to their main forward? Is that
Shane Tierney, who was in the first half absolutely brilliant. He's so fast and such a brilliant ball winner. Anything that comes in within 20 yards of him, he will get there in front all the time. In the first half, he had 4 points on his right foot. He had 4 wides on his left foot on top of that. And after the first one, I was kind of saying, listen, keep turning on to your right foot. To myself, you know, if it was in his situation, well, firstly, I wouldn't have a left foot to kick, but he kept on. He's confident. He's sure of himself, and you can see it in him. When he gets a chance, he will take it every time. Like, he'll go at them, and he's somebody to watch. That I seen him with the Cavan Juniors earlier on in the year, and he looked very good as well. So if they can keep him in the country, like, he'll be one to watch maybe for the county seniors. Darren Jordan had a very, very good game for Lavey as well, I have to say, at wing half forward.
Jordan was black carded as well.
Joey was black carded, yeah. So on the Coothill side though, the forward line was very functional. Like, they started with Colm Smith at wing half forward instead of Mark Mullen, and Colm Smith was, to describe him maybe 2 years ago, just huge, like an absolute monster. But he was playing a lot of rugby. He's lost, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 stone, and he still looks huge. He's very big, but he's mobile now. He's actually he can cover ground. He looks like he's got fit, and he can bring the ball through challenges. He's somebody that, if he was to play football regularly, has all the ability for county standard as well.
He's strong, yeah.
Enda Hesson, usual, you know, moments of class from Enda Hesson. Obviously, you played with him, Kieran, at under 21, and he was involved with the county panel for a while. There's no shortage of ability when it comes to Enda.
Very good.
Yeah, he's talented. Tom Hayes at full forward was very good as well, I have to say. He scored 1-1, but his movement all the time. Like, I just watched at one point when Lavey had a good defence set up. Coothill were with the ball out in the middle of the field, and Tom Hayes just kept going. It was over back, while Coothill were playing the ball over and back out around the middle third of the field, waiting for the option. Tom Hayes just kept on going. Like, he has great energy about him as well.
Glad to be young again.
Yeah, so it was a good win there for Coothill, and you know, that secures them as senior for another year coming up from intermediate. I suppose that's the main goal for any team that comes up.
And the last game saw Drumgoon taking on Kingscourt. Maybe it wasn't the last game in that, but it was the Drumgoon taking on Kingscourt. Drumgoon 8 points, Kingscourt 2-13. Very convincing win for Kingscourt. Drumgoon, after being beaten by Den a couple of weeks ago, It just hasn't happened for them in the championship at all, Mossy.
No, well, even that day now, Drumgoon were quite good now, but it's just tough. Kingscourt is a tough team.
Yeah.
They're after winning the last.
Drumgoon
Right,
missing
like,
the likes of Conor Mina, the brother Killian, obviously. They're both over in America at the minute, and Michael Hannon in Chicago. They're
Massive.
they're huge losses.
Huge loss. Yeah.
You know, I don't think any team could survive losses like that, so it was disappointing. They kept on battling. Keith Fannin showed moments of class in that game. His left foot, you know, how he manages to strike a ball, and it doesn't look like he's trying to kick it. It looks like he's trying to just caress the ball over the bar. He just lovely clean strike of a ball. He's a talented footballer. Other than that, you know, Michael McDonald tried hard in the middle of the field and Jim McNally, but you'd have to say Terry Riley for Kingscourt was absolutely outstanding. Lowered in the middle of the field, full of running, good use of the ball, simple stuff, not complicating it too much at all. Philip Tinley and Barry Tully, the two wing half backs, were very, very good as well. So they managed to rest a few players, I suppose. Kingscourt, Dara Gunn didn't start. Keith McCabe didn't start either, so Philip Smith didn't start, so they still weren't at full strength, and they'd like to be a slow builder throughout the championship. Bringing it on now then to the senior championship games that are coming up this weekend. The round 2, which is the losers from round 1 against each other. Lavi are taking on Gowna. The losers of Ramor and Kingscourt, which will be this weekend, will take on Cuhullins the following weekend. Castlerahan taking on Crushallow, and Den taking on Drumalee. Barry, will you go to any of these games?
I'm not going.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
You're heading back to
Go back
Spain on Wednesday.
All right. Would you not fly back just to see Drumalee and Den?
I'm getting a transfer back to Drumalee just for this game. I have to.
I'll go.
I suppose you'll obviously be ready for Drumalee again.
You won't go to that game, will you, Mossy? No, you just leave that one.
Very, very familiar, the two clubs, in the last year or so.
Yeah, even especially last year now. But no, it's not going to be. It's not going to be easy anyway, because any of them clubs, any of that draw, like it was always going to be a tough draw anyway with the clubs that was in it. So I suppose
what would your tactics be for that game?
Both clubs would be happy because they'll probably miss some of the big hitters, the so-called big hitters.
Yeah.
So like it's
the likes of your, Kingscourt, Cuhullins, Castlerahan's, Lavi or
maybe
Gowna.
Ram or any of them. Like it's probably it's a good draw for both teams.
It's a good draw for both. They'll both be optimistic that if they play to their potential, could win the game.
Yeah.
You know, there was very little between them in all the games last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
We went to extra time last year, and even any games over that past few years have always been very close. So.
yeah. What would you fancy out of that weekend in senior football, Kieran? Would you go to any?
Oh, well, I always go to a few of them, but I'd probably go to the Gowna game.
Cheer on the neighbours.
Cheer them on, yeah, that's it. But,
Exactly it, isn't it?
I know we've great friends over in Gowna there, so it's nice. You always like to support your local crowd. We'd like a crowd at our game, and one thing you'd urge is many people to go to all these games, because one thing you were saying earlier on about playing in Breffni, you know it doesn't be a great atmosphere, but everyone wants to play there. So if you get the crowds, it's all right, but it just needs the crowds, and I suppose that's the biggest problem there. But
would you fancy Gowna to come through that game?
I suppose they would. They never give up, and look at Del Harry, and to have talent in different positions. David Hyland, Mark McKeever, Conor Madden. These are all big game players, and to do it when it comes down to it, when it gets hard going, them boys stand up, and they're the boys you want in your team, and they surely do that.
To mention just about Gowna, Jared Pearson actually came on for Gowna at the weekend. He's back now from Canada, so that could be a space to watch. If you're still playing, Jared Pearson surely can still play.
Absolutely. Definitely.
There's hope for everybody yet. In the Senior Championship Round 2A, which is the winners section, this weekend as well, we'll see Ballina taking on Mullahoran, Coothill taking on Killashandra. The winners of Ramor and Kingscourt, which will be played this weekend, will take on Killigarry, and then Cavan Gales against Lacken. There's some great ties there. If you were in the country, Barry, you'd surely go to some of them games.
The first game you mentioned, Damien?
It was Ballina Mullahoran.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good match to watch. Yeah, competitive, probably high tempo, hard hitting. You know, everything you want in a game.
Yeah, localish derby as well. So,
Coothill and Killashandra, two teams that are trying to make their name in senior. That's going to be a cracker as well. And the bottom one, Cavan Gales v Lacken. Lacken always put it up to Cavan Gales,
but never seem to beat them.
Yeah,
in championship.
If it goes to a replay, Cavan Gales are like Kerry. They don't do replays. You just get one
all
chance.
them games this weekend, isn't
Yeah, I think so. Now again,
Well, the Ramor Kingscourt game, that'll be on this weekend.
that'll definitely be on this weekend. I'd say they'll probably play the most of them this weekend, but
Castlerahan and
It's,
Christian
No heavy hitting teams going there. That's them going if they lose that game, isn't it?
no.
The winners of the losers
Alright.
round will be playing the losers of this one. Everybody will get a second chance from this.
Yeah, there's nobody going out on that screen.
You
There's
know what you're talking about there, Mickey, don't you?
Yeah.
as always.
In my head, that makes sense. You know, the losers of that one will be playing the winners of the other losers.
Can you see any upsets, lads?
It's hard to predict. I mean, you look at teams on paper, then you see the game, and something else can pan out completely different. You know, some of the teams are in the loser section that you wouldn't have foreseen.
Being there, yeah. That's true.
When you look at that one, Cavan Gales having hammered Kilcullins on the weekend, what would that have done for them? Will it have, was that any good for them? Lacken having played a really, really
Tough game. And Lacken have Niall McKiernan back for this game, which they didn't have.
For the last
so that'll be a big plus. I'll tell you one thing about Lacken, they're physically huge. They're
big
monsters.
They're serious. They're going to be.
Yeah. I see a potential upset there. Potential again, but
Lacken by 1 or Cavan Gales by 10. That's the way I see it.
It could go either way. So anyway, that brings us to the end of this week's show. Remember, if you want to get in contact with us with your views, we'd be delighted to hear from you.
Yeah, so you can email us on GaelicFootballViews@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook by searching Gaelic Football Views, or you can follow us on Twitter @GaelicFE. We'll just give you one more result from the weekend that we forgot to put in. The ladies were playing Monaghan on Saturday in Kingspan Breffni Park in the All-Ireland TG Cahir Senior Championship qualifier rounds, and they lost, unfortunately, to Monaghan. A scoreline of 4 goals and 13 points, I think it was, to
1-4.
To 1-4.
I think it was.
It was very
1-4. Yeah. My apologies for not
4 goals
adding that in. I had the programme and all, but
Cavan were in it up until 5 minutes to go in the first half of that game. It was level. It was 5 points to 1-2. Cavan let in a sloppy goal, very unfortunate goal, and Monaghan just seemed to kick on from there. But it has to be said that in the second half, the quality of the inside forward line on the Monaghan team was absolutely outstanding.
Their full forward line for Monaghan finished with 4 goals and 10 points out of their 4-13, so that says enough.
And it was like watching the full forward line from the men's team, because the skill set of them, the vision, and the work rate was just fantastic. And funnily enough, just before we finish up on it, I saw something which was incredible after the game. You want to see their warm down, lads. The girls went into a circle. The Monaghan girls went into a circle and they did 20 press-ups. Then they went into the plank position for a minute. Then they did 20 press-ups and went into the plank, the side plank. 20 press-ups into the side plank. It was like a training session that they did after the game. And it just shows you the level that Monaghan ladies team are at, because their fitness was outstanding.
It really was. But
I did see this match.
You did?
I did.
Hey.
Excellent.
It was a fantastic game of football from a Monaghan perspective, unfortunately. But in the second half, they just stole away, and the ball possession was fantastic. And what you said, Mickey, up front, their attack and the shooting was absolutely fantastic. The support, the running.
It was funny that Cavan dominated the first 25 minutes, and they had 2 great goal chances. Roisin O'Keefe, her shot came off the butt of the post, and then there was another goal chance. I can't remember, it was blocked or something like that. But Cavan did dominate the first 25 minutes. But when Monaghan got going, as you said, they were just
there was a massive
phenomenal.
gulf in the second half. It's unfortunate, but it just shows how much ladies football has come on. At the end of the match, what you mentioned, Mickey, but the standard in the second half was excellent.
It was funny up in the press area that the Monaghan team had their 3 statisticians, all lined up. Now Cavan had one alongside it, but it was as good as any county men senior team setup. It really was. They are a professional outfit, So it's, I suppose it's Cavan taking steps towards getting to that level is the most important thing. And as I say a lot, you can't beat a Monaghan until you play a Monaghan, so you have to learn from those situations.
And it has to be said as well that Conor Barry and his team, Aidan McCabe and the lads, they've put in a tremendous effort this year, and they've gone up a step in professionalism with that ladies team. But it will take time to make them as good as Monaghan and whatever. But the teams are coming through, and the work that's been done is fantastic. It's just a shame for the girls that they did meet Monaghan being season campaigners and senior, All-Ireland senior, you know, so
Yeah.
they'll go at it again next year.
They will do. Again, so we'll go back to the end of the show, unfortunately. Sorry about that, Cavan ladies, for getting that one, but I had it in the programme and all. I would have been killed.
lynched.
Carol Kiernan would have killed me altogether. But
Lord.
our thanks to the backroom team tonight of Brian Daly and Seamus Quinn, as always, and our thanks to our guests, Barry Lynch, Tomás Core and Kieran Brady. Thanks very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sorry
on
for
everything.
keeping you longer than that half an hour that we said at 6:30. It's now nearly 8 o'clock. So look, until next week, it's good night for me, and
God bless.
Cavan Crystal Hotel provides 4-star accommodation on the edge of Cavan town. Located conveniently on the Dublin Road, just 60 minutes away from Dublin. With 85 beautifully appointed bedrooms and a number of luxurious suites. We offer wedding packages. With our one wedding a day policy, we guarantee to make yours a special day. Enjoy a meal at our award-winning Opus One restaurant, or have a drink in the atrium or residence bars. Feeling energetic? You can work out in Zest Health and Fitness Club, or maybe pamper yourself and visit Utopia Health and Beauty Clinic, or Avita's Hair Salon, both located on site. Situated only 5 minutes from Cavan Town Centre and local amenities. Cavan Crystal Hotel, gateway to Ireland's Lakelands.